Hello, and welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour edition, January 15th, 2021. And we'd like to thank everybody out there for coming and make a comment out there so we know who you are. Say hello in the comment area right there, and so we can see. And I have a special guest, our special co-host today, and her name is Heather. Hi, Heather. How you doing?
Hi.
We're
Hi,
excited
everyone.
we're excited to do this show. We have Teresa. Let me put this down here so we can know who our special guest is. And she's going to do, we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about our feelings in life and what's going on in this time. Crazy, wonderful, wonderful time in in this moment in the world right now. So, so how you doing, Heather? How's your week? Or how has it been?
My week has been pretty good, pretty long. And I just want to say, I was thinking about coming. Thank you so much for inviting me to co-host with you. I was thinking of my time with COVID and, really that connection with people and feeling like I look forward to Friday nights, right? I look forward to coming here. And so I wanted to thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome. We create a space here for everybody to come, and regardless of how you feel, what you're doing, just come on and say hi, even if you just say hi, like Chris. Yeah. Happy Friday, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Evelyn, how you doing? And we have a special guest and a special healing, so we're going to get some good stuff going on, get some good energy, and Chris Jensen. Chris. Hi, Heather. It's been a while. And hi. Yeah. So, hey, Chris. Chris is always here. And hey, Zach, how you doing? Sup, Rubes and friends. Yeah, so, we always have some good people on here, some good energy. And, if you have, like I said, anything that you want to talk about, too, as we're going along, even if it does have nothing to do with the show content, I guess, there's nothing here that we can't talk about. And if you're feeling a little depressed, a little down, then we will love to talk to you about that, too, because we have a good space and good energy here. And we're going to bring up Teresa in a second, but we would, like I said, like to thank everybody for coming out on every Friday for Cali Cocktail Hour. Tonight, my cocktail is mezcal, all the way from the mountains of Oaxaca, my little thing right here, and for my friend. So what are you drinking tonight?
I have got some red wine for Cali Cocktail Hour.
Good. I know everybody has some kombucha out there and some nice tea. So, so we're going to go in a song right now because we're going to get ready to bring in Teresa, and we're going to take you to, Hey, Chrissy, how you doing? See? Oh, and Corey, who was here last week. Yes, we're going to have a big, she's here too.
I watched your show last week, Corey.
Yeah, Corey is awesome too. And hopefully Corey will have her own show as well after we're done with teaching her too. So, anyways, let's go to the song. It is a little bit of house music, going. Uli was born depressing. We're down. Yeah, so we'll bring you up, Uli. We'll give you a big virtual slow hug for you. Let's bring him up. Corey says hello. Hola, Charisse.
Hi, Charisse.
And right now we are in Michoacan, Mexico. Loose. Teresa. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour, everybody. It is Friday.
Yes, it is Friday.
And yes, Uli, it is happy 2021.
Happy 2021.
5 more days, and we'll have to bake smudge in the White House. Teresa have to bring some extra copal for us, okay?
They won't let us go. But we'll help from afar.
There's no copal that would save that place.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, look at the little kids.
Well, they're good dancers.
Yeah. Well, having the kids dancing with the energy is awesome. If they came out, they just put a smile on my face. But yeah, good energy those little beings carry.
That's right. They have no judgment. We'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. The DJ wants to keep going. Sorry. Let's do it this way. Okay. Anyways. Look. Oh.
Comadita Moni, yes, always.
Yes.
Hi, Corey.
In the famous
Yes,
words.
Let's do some healing. Let's do a little bit of work on ourselves. Absolutely.
So, how are you doing out there? How's it going? How you been? This is the second time here, and I'm glad to help you. I'm glad to have you here out here at Cali Cocktail Hour. It's always been fun. Last show was awesome too.
Yes. Well, I am very blessed. For me, every day is a good day to have a good day. Sometimes we have those days where they're not good days, but at the end of the day, we need to figure out what makes us happy. But it's been going well. Yes.
Well, I see. I see you have some smoke there going
I
too.
do. Yes, I do have some smoke. Usually, when it comes to prayer or healing and trying to send good vibes, is we're outside and we're able to smell the essence of the copal and feel the heat of it. So wanted to come here and bless everyone and send out that virtual blessing, that virtual positive vibe, energy. Looking within ourselves, taking a deep breath, kind of gathering anything and everything that's been bothering us mentally, physically, emotionally. Just taking that moment to kind of close your eyes and envision anything and everything that you're holding on to and no longer serves you.
Yeah, I know that last week, last couple of weeks, people have been really tired and really a lot of stuff that went on, right? A lot of stuff that we had to absorb in our energy. And I just felt like a lot about it was, every time I call someone like, yeah, I'm in a funk right now. I just have to, I always call it that we're in an emotional hangover, right? Mm-hmm. Just even watching.
But don't own it. It doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I just let it go, and I just let it, filter through my body and let it go. But, that was a lot of vibrations. Yeah, it was draining. Yeah. And I think that's a good word for it. I felt a lot of people were drained.
And sometimes you have to turn it off.
Yeah.
Because you can sit down and catch the news or catch the radio or you're scrolling through your phones or however it is that you're trying to receive information that's on the outside. And sometimes at some point you just have to either limit yourself or shut it off. And kind of regather yourself and think about, okay, what is it that I can do? And if there isn't anything I can do about it, then why worry about it?
Yeah.
It can also feel a little bit like Groundhog Day, right? Where you just wake up and if you're isolated from anything but the news, even if you're shutting off the news, it just cannot feel enlivening, right? It can just feel like day after day of the same thing where you're missing people and connections to other people or speaking to a stranger even. I was talking to a friend of mine about Sacramento restrictions opening up a little bit. And she said, I just want to talk to a stranger. And that really, I was like, yes, yeah, I know how you feel. It's like this strange Groundhog Day where our days are very similar to.
Right. And I think that's one of the important things about, this platform with Cali Cocktail Hour, happening on Fridays, where, if you kind of just gone through the week and, you at the end, you kind of just want to wind down. And I think it's really good that we're able to create a platform like this where you're able to be like, people, you see faces, you see, people moving, and, it's not just on the TV where you can conversate back and forth. So it is important to, if you have somebody to, FaceTime with, whether it's a friend, a family member, do so, because that's that connection. Although we can't be in person physically, having the interaction just as we're doing here, I think it's very important, even for those that are listening in. Take the time to just that moment to where you're able to connect, with other beings, even in this type of platform. So
yeah. And Heather, we have a big comment, so can you read that? Because I'm not a very
healing.
It's from Chris Macias. Hey, Chris, thank you for coming out.
Hi, Chris. Healing. Thinking of my wonderful mom-in-law. She had an accident the other day and was in the hospital. Thankfully, she's going to be okay, but it's going to be a rough few weeks. Any healing vibes her way are much appreciated tonight.
Yes, absolutely, Chris. And just ask, Creator to give a little bit of love and light and energy to your mother-in-law, and to your family. That are, it's not only affecting her, it's affecting everyone around. But family is important, and so continue to stay strong and continue to reach out to one another, so then you can heal in that way.
Yeah, and like you said, it's always, because Chris, I know Chris is a really giving person, right? And sometimes when you're giving, you always think about the other person, right? Even like you said, even though they got injured too, but it's like you're also the one carrying that too, right? Because sometimes you don't know what to do, right? You get stuck because you're always wanting to help, and it's hard to sit back and not know what to do. But like I said, I think energy. I think all of us here, it's almost like a, this shot of energy going out, and I think that's what I think about this space, right? It's always good energy, and someone's having a bad day, put it on there, and let's talk about it, and let's take care of it, and it, just talking about it and putting it out there, I think helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would love to hear if there are people listening, how they are connecting with people, because for me, when I was, I'm in Sacramento now, but I was in Washington when I first started coming to Cali Cocktail Hour, and I was by myself, and this really made me feel not alone. And I wonder how people are connecting, if they have other ideas or suggestions that are working for them too.
And Corey sends her, yeah, sorry. To hear about that, yeah.
Healing.
Yeah, so I get stuck on words.
And his mother-in-law.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Chris. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Very grateful for this space.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Here's a big.
Can you speak on the method you use to release the hard day, the negative emotions and thoughts, especially if there isn't anyone to reach out to at that moment? It's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. You have to envision, see if you can find it within yourself. And one of the techniques that I use is breathing, because sometimes either when we're having, negative thoughts, and we kind of get stuck within ourselves. And so we kind of like freeze, and it might not seem like it, but when you're holding on that negative thought, it affects your body. And so it's finding a way to, kind of pinpoint that negative thought, analyze it and figure out, why am I thinking like this, and do I really need to kind of own that? Do I need to keep that to myself? And I would say, definitely closing your eyes and, taking a couple of deep breaths to the point where you no longer feel like tense. And it might take a couple of breathing, sessions, or, maybe try it, I would say, throughout the day, especially when you wake up, because you're able to take that deep breath and release it. And sometimes people will take a deep breath and they hold it here and they don't let it go. And so sometimes it's just a matter of when you feel your body in that relaxed state, and it's no longer there that you're thinking about that. So I think that would be good, is to breathe it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be brushing it off. It might feel like, you feel something in your arm or your leg or somewhere in your body, and it's just you can feel something there. And so, kind of just get rid of it, shake it off, get it off of you.
So anybody out there too, like, and I also like the technique of just, getting back to where your mom or your parent used to rub your head, right? And they tell you, like, just rub, self-love yourself, right? Just go, if you're nervous in an interview, kind of just rub your hand and touch yourself, and because your body reacts to all of that stuff, right?
Yes.
And it has a physical touch reaction to it. So that's something I like to do myself. When I'm, I used to wake up at night in the middle of the night and rub my hand like this. And my girlfriend Melissa was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, it just makes me cold." And I didn't realize that I was doing that because I had bad dreams at nighttime. So I was just really just trying to calm myself down. And then when I realized that was actual technique, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that means. I'm really just reaching out for some sort of comfort without, I'm not going to wake her up and say, "Hey, I had a bad dream," or "Hey, this is going on." Because I'm not a good sleeper. And I always, my thoughts, if they go, they're going to go at that time and wake me up, and I'm like, okay, and it's things I can't control. You know what I mean? It's like things I can't take care of, obviously, at that time. So I always tell myself, like, okay, well, why don't you go to sleep? Let's wait till tomorrow. You can't really, and so let me, so let me go back to, all right, there you go.
Add to Teresa's amazing, well-said words, I find that a burn journal is a great tool, as well as earthing. And I'm familiar with earthing, so you might have to help out there.
So I would say in regards to the burn journal, I think that's excellent. Where, you're able to, kind of gather anything and everything that's been bothering you. And then in regards to earthing, the way if I was to connect with earth, is sometimes I would go find a tree, and I would go barefooted up to the tree, and I would kind of just give anything and everything back to Mother Earth where she can absorb it. But at the same time, it's kind of like doing an exchange where you're also giving, but then you're also taking to clear and receive the nutrients and the energy from Mother Earth.
Wow.
See, I talked to Corey last time, and I read that too, because we talked about every year I go for my birthday. I go to the ocean. I close my eyes. I put my hand I put my hand underneath the sand, sit there and close my eyes and listen to the sounds and listen to the waves, right? And I listen to the waves, and I kind of hit my vibrations through those waves until my body is back in sync, right? And so now it's been more because I obviously can't really go that far anywhere, I do more walking meditation now. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna walk out there, look at leaves, look at the birds, or and I think that's one thing that I think that we have. If anything, life has slowed down for us, and we're able to see these things, and maybe
and it's okay. Yeah, it's okay that life slowed down, because we've always been in a constant. It's always I got to do this, or what time is it? I got to do this, and I have to I have to send this, or I have to write this email, or I got to get the kids ready. I got to feed them, and it's being in the situation that we are in, the way that we're living. it does give us an opportunity to slow down and appreciate, the time with the self. I think it's very important to kind of look within yourself and figure out, instead of having to worry about anything and everything that's outside of my home, let's start with myself. What is it that I can do to either make myself feel good? It's either drinking something, eating something, doing exercise, reading something. And we often forget that, we're beings, we're human beings, and we have to stay connected with the earth, and sometimes, like I said, we get lost in social media and being on our phones. And, I was literally just having a conversation with my son today. And I told him, I said, we're going to cut out TV at least 3 times a week. And so he looked at me like, what? And I said, yeah. I said, we will cut out TV. And so it's having to program yourself, to appreciate the self and appreciate, Mother Earth and, the elements and the energy and the healing that it does bring to you.
Yeah, and I know we're all suffering through, like there's a lot of people that are suffering now too. Unfortunately, we have to get to this point because we're here now, right? And time is slowed down because obviously, Mother Earth is telling us, hey, there's, slow down, and I don't know what else other message out there, but it's hard for people who emote to, turn yourself off to everybody that's suffering right now. It's almost like a vortex. You can feel it in the air, even though you can't see it. And
right.
It's it is hard, kind of work on yourself too when you because sometimes it is like when people say now, how are you? I'm like, do you really want to know? Right. It used to be like, oh, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like you really have to get into conversation because that question is really loaded now because, one day you'll be doing good. The other day, like I said, you'll be feeling off just because I think you're just feeling, a lot of us are a little bit more sensitive than we feel that we are. And then you can't shake it or, you have to try to let it go too. And so I think people are, kind of thrown off by everything as well. I know I am, I should say.
Yeah, I think it's hard to, you can't always see when you're being affected by the news, right? You'll end up crabby or someone around you is crabby. And then just being like, oh, there has been so much happening in the world, of course. And I think also cutting other people a little bit of slack and holding space for them to heal when you're like, well, why is that person so brusque? Well, there's a lot going on right now, So one of the things I wanted to bring up when you were talking about self-care, my daughter sent, I think the podcast is called Unfuck Your Brain. And one of the suggestions they had was to make sure, you had mentioned eating, feeding yourself, drinking something. They were like, do something for yourself, like feed yourself like you would feed somebody you would invite over for dinner. Like spend that time making yourself dinner and enjoying it, and treat yourself like the people you would treat in your life.
Yeah, that's very important. And one of the things that before there was eating utensils, what did we eat with? We ate with our hands. And part of our hands is, when you're eating and you're touching your food, that's part of, your body telling itself like you're getting ready to eat. And so it's important that, you get back to, I mean, you don't have to just stop eating using utensils, but, touch the food, appreciate it, what it is that you're putting inside you. Staying away from, processed foods, sugars, flour, because those are the things that, affect our bodies. And so it's understanding, what is healthy. You can feed yourself, but, are you feeding yourself something that's healthy versus, are you feeding yourself something that's, not healthy for you? Is it nutritious? My son, he's, just turned 6, and I had told him that, we need to start, making, healthier choices. And it's part of that is, reprogramming, when before the pandemic, everything is so quick and it's like, okay, fast food, or okay, let's go to the restaurant, or, let's go over here. And now it's like, okay, you really have to, you're cooking your own meals, and some people are, that's the way that, we're living, we can't depend on, on the outside source to take care of us and feed us. It starts within our home.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And I think everything is, like I said, everything is slowed down now. And we do have to rely on ourselves. Even, I know that in Eastern ways is that, we had no time to think about ourselves, right? We had no time to think about, what is truly going on inside of our souls, right? Because we're always going here, we have this, and this, all these distractions. And now we don't really have those distractions, right? Everything is slowed down now, and people have to be fine with themselves now. Like, I know, the other night, I've thought about so many things that I'm like, what am I going to think about now? Like, I completely thought about everything that I could think about. I'm like, and that's kind of, when the first pandemic happened, it was almost like you're emptying your cup of all these, I mean, I'm talking about, we all have different feelings. We all have different, like, there's darkness within us, right? There's light, there's darkness, everything, right? And I'm okay with that too, with it too. But I think a lot of us are, who haven't had time to think about things, and now, they seem, they're not working right now, or, there's less work, or there's, and, there's not that many distractions right now. As a matter of fact, it's kind of the opposite too, right? And we have to find those little things, like you said, earthing, going out, touching something, or because we don't have that physical contact anymore.
Right.
So let me see.
I can be. Hola, Vidal. Oh, it's so good to hear from Vidal.
Yeah, I know, it's great to hear from
Vidal. Enjoyable. It's good to see you on here, comadrita. So we're kind of confined and constricted to our homes, but we can always step outside our door. Yeah. Whether it's the front yard or the backyard or the side door, or, even opening your windows, letting the light come shine through, in the mornings, finding that it could be as easy, like I said, opening the window and letting the sun come through, or opening the doors and letting the cold air come in, and you feel that coldness, and then you're like, okay, it's there. You're awakening your senses.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people have been, gardening and, taking care of plants, and even out. So whatever it is that you can do, to feel like you're not trapped inside your home, it's okay for you to, step outside. Don't be afraid to step outside your door and, appreciate, just the naturalness that's all around us. Just depends on, where we're at.
And there's been some days I haven't even went outside, which is weird because I'm always going somewhere. When this pandemic, first started, I was like, before that, I was like, I got to go here,
You hadn't gone outside?
No, I stayed home.
Yeah.
No, and, it's like now I'm realizing that there's a lot of things in my life that I really didn't need to do. I didn't need to go over there. Nothing was going to happen over there. I remember when I was a kid, I was always up late because I thought something was going to happen. Oh, you're putting me to bed because guess what? There's a party, or something, and that's how I feel like I am in life in general too. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen at nighttime, so I got to go out, right?
Yeah.
Nothing happens. I mean, I'm saying like there it does, but I'm saying like, you get this mind frame, and I think that has completely broken from me. Like so now I'm going to rebuild what I feel is important now. Who's important and what is important, right? Yeah. So that's one thing that's good for me. It's really broken that structure that I had that was just wild, So, I mean, not wild, but, busy.
Yeah, and that's good. It's sometimes it's okay to kind of like slow down.
Yeah.
It's appreciating, the time that we are and that we have, because, I would say there's more often than not, people that have children or relatives, or they're taking care of someone, and because they're working, they don't have the opportunity to raise their family, and that's really important. And even for myself, I think about I would rather be at home, working from home, where I can raise my children versus being away at work and, you know, depending on someone else to raise them. But it's finding that balance. You know, sometimes it works for people and sometimes it doesn't. You know, some people actually might, you know, need to be away. And it's okay. You know, every person is different. And so, you know, and you have to find what works for you. You know, just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean that you have to do it. But if it's something that's positive and you want to do it, then, you know, go for it.
Yeah. So, and I'd like to thank everybody out there for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour, and we appreciate you coming out every Friday. And, you know, we do some pop-ups here and there, probably more now than, you know, than normal. But yeah, thank you for coming out, everybody. If you have, this is our section, our just a quick feeling. If like you have a feeling, please put it down. You know, it doesn't matter if you're anxious, angry, sad. We call this the dog park for feelings, where all of our feelings can get together, hang out. And so put them down. This is our little spot real quick.
Welcome to the dog park for feelings.
All right. There you go. So break it up a little bit. You know, do some ginger to cleanse the palate. Yeah. So anyway, so we're going to go back. And Teresa, I know, you know, when you get to this, I know you have a store, right? And you have on Etsy. And let me bring up, so give me real quick here. All right. There you go.
Yes. So on Etsy, my store name is Mashika 1. And so you can, yep, there it is there. And it's a little bit of, you know, the things that I've created. Some of it is family, you know, created things and, you know, just trying to support one another. I also have a friend from Mexico who, you know, we do some trade. And so I'm able to get some things and, you know, put a shop together. And, you know, it goes back to, you know, supporting a small business.
And and what do you have in the shop too?
So in the shop, I have jewelry. I have what else do I have? I have copal. I have sage, palo santo. So those are tools for cleansing your home, blessing your space, creating you know, a connection that you can use to, you know, to communicate with your higher power. And just cleanse yourself. There's some woodwork that I do. What else do I have on there? My aunt does crocheting, and so there's a little bit of her work that she does.
And so these are handmade stuff by you too?
Yes. So a lot of this, I would say anything and everything that's in the shop is handmade, I would say, except the things that I don't make are probably the samadots, but those are handmade and actually sent to me from Mexico. Yay, absolutely.
So yeah, and let's go back. You know, like you said, I know that we talked about this earlier, but what is Palo Santo?
So Palo Santo, similar to I would say it can be in reference to, so the natives use sage. I know that in the Aztec dancing tradition, we use copal. We can also use Palo Santo, but it's just another form or another tool that you could utilize for blessing and cleansing.
And so you also have a Facebook page so people can get a hold of you too there.
I do. Yes, I have. That is my Facebook page. I get a lot of requests, so I try to add as many people. I never like to say no to people unless your profile is kind of weird. But other than that, you know, I'm open to, you know, sharing a lot of the medicine and healing.
I noticed that I didn't get accepted.
When?
Just kidding.
Yeah.
And you also do healings too.
I do, yeah. So I do spiritual healings. And they're called limpias. It is a way to bring energy and healing that I have to another being. And so one of the pictures that you see here is actually at a Cesar Chavez March where, it's a community healing where I'm coming and blessing in addition to, other samadoras or women that carry smoke. And that's to cleanse the way for the Aztec dancers, to come and bring song and prayer to what it is that we're trying to support. The other picture is of another danzante where they come and people ask me can I get a blessing, can I get a cleansing, and I never turn anyone away, especially being out in the community, because the communities need healing, and so it's one of the Tere did a limpia in my home. Oh yes, I remember, Moni. Yes, and I also do limpias and people's homes. Right now it's kind of limited, of course, due to COVID, but I do have them. And like I said, I just like to come and offer, the tools that were kind of just given to me, I would say.
Yeah.
To come and share.
Well, that's great. And we have a couple of comments too. I want to go back to before I get to Evelyn on there. Heather.
Yes, I really love being home now with my family and working from home. It was an adjustment, I can't lie. Even thought they would let me to go back to work. Laugh out loud. LOL.
Yes, absolutely. Evelyn has a big, beautiful family, and it's very true. You're able to stay connected with your little ones, and in your kids and the grandbabies. So I think it's just beautiful to be able to do that, because right now family is important. I do agree.
So Teresa, you're saying that people, that you would. If someone asks for some good energy or healing right now, you can shoot it through the internet. So anybody out there who just wants some good energy right now, some good healing vibes, just put it in the comments.
Put in the comments.
Yeah, there you go, right here.
Let's see.
Corey Taylor says, I'd like to ask for healing energy and safe travels to be sent to a family member, Bert, whose parents are from a village in Guadalajara.
There's more.
The village is full of elders, and COVID is now running strong through there. Both his parents are sick with all the hospitals full. He will be leaving soon to take medicines to all he can.
Wow. And send him some.
Yeah, I just had to take a moment.
Yeah.
Put it out there, and ask Creator to protect the family. Ask that that he traveled there safely, and he returned safely as well. And not very many people can do that, to be able to travel and take medicine. So for Bert, he is a healer as well, because he's able to provide that for his family, especially in this time of need. So yes, love and light to him.
Yeah. Anybody out there, you can put in the comments. So right now, we're going to go to, I think we talked about earlier today, how I, it's not about me, but searching for my roots, searching for my DNA. I am the, what do you call it? The colonized and the colonizer all in one body, right? So I have to, I'm looking for my native roots right now, and I will go back and go for my European roots, which I found out that my name is Portuguese, so I'm like, it's not Spanish, so I had to go back but it's gonna be, if I go there, it's gonna be a beautiful travel to Portugal, but I really am trying to make peace with every part of my DNA that I've discovered, African, Jewish, Cyprus now, and so I am gonna in doing that, I'm coming across different teachings, and I am going to go to Chris real quick, for what, and Corey said, ooh, thank you, prayer hands. There you go.
Chris says, I could very much use some healing energy, still processing the death of my father in July, along with the anxiety and isolation of these times. Definitely sending out love.
Chris, I want to say thank you for opening that channel for us to allow to bring you some love and light. And yes, you're correct. It is going to be a process. But there's no date, time there's no date and time that's going to be placed on it. So you keep in mind that you can take as much as time as you need. And there might not be a time. So just know that you can always come and check in on Friday's Cali Cocktail Hour. You're always more than welcome to send me a message. And, if there's somebody that you need to communicate with, so you're not feeling so isolated, we will work together.
Yeah. We love you, Chris.
Yes.
See, Noli said he visited Portugal with his mom 10 years ago. And, I would have loved to visit with I couldn't because she passed away when I was 4 days old. Or my mom that raised me, go somewhere. I think that's beautiful. I think there's some things in our lives that, I couldn't take it for granted. I don't think anybody does, but, and even with my father too. My father was not the best father. So there was no communication. See, and Uli knows I like oaks.
What's funny about that is I visited with my mom, Portugal last year. Well, now 2019, I went to Portugal with my mom. It was the first time she had been out of the country.
See, and these are beautiful moments, that come into this stuff too. And now I have to go look for my roots in Portugal, in the town of Reveles. But before that, let me ask you, Chris. So thanks, Uli, for bringing that up, because it does, like I said, it just creates a seed that grows everywhere, Oh, that's good, Chris. Yeah.
You needed that. Yeah. Sometimes you need to, and this is for anyone, sometimes it's okay to, for tears to come, because that's also a way of kind of like letting go and replenishing. Yeah. And although, of course, people are like, oh, you shouldn't be crying, or it's okay to cry. Yeah. And sometimes you need that to reset.
Especially for men,
all of July crying. So I'm right there with you, Chris. Yeah. And I don't know Chris. I know you guys know Chris, and I don't know Chris, but for me, coming here and being with people in this open space really felt healing just in that, to be with other people. So thank you for coming.
See, when Teresa said third generation Portuguese have never been. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why. So Teresa, we may be related. I'll find that out too.
That would be wonderful if you're related.
And we do appreciate everybody for coming. And we're going to go back to native people from Mexico. And I was searching for my roots, and came across. I morphed into 3 different people this week because I have faulty information. But in doing that, I got to see some really beautiful, in my research, so to speak. And huicholes, I've always, I've seen them everywhere. When I go to Zacatecas, so they're just kind, always really nice. I didn't understand some of them sometimes because, when it's funny when I go to Oaxaca all the time.
Different dialect. Yeah.
Different dialect. Yeah, for sure. But I feel very comfortable because of the dialect. And my dad's like, why don't you go here? I'm like, because in Oaxaca you hear Zapotec, and Mixteco, and all these languages, and it's really beautiful to hear that. And I think that's, people think I'm, but I think in my DNA needs to hear that. and and it becomes like this thing. I'm like, it's reaching
part
it.
of you.
Yeah, it's part of me,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Part of me that I can't explain to people. I'm like, no, I need to hear that. I need to be around it.
And sometimes it's okay if you don't have an explanation, as long as you understand it within yourself and what it is that you're trying to receive from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always felt close to the earth. I've always felt close to energy and vibrations, and so I'm going to play this little clip. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long, but it's very interesting. And then we'll come back, and we'll come back into Teresa's going to do a little healing.
Yes.
Get out there for everybody out there. We'd like to thank everybody for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour. And if you're just here to say we love you, we do love you. If you're here to say you need a hug, we're here for you. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. We're here for you. So you can be happy. You can put some stuff up, be silly, put it up. We're fine. So, and I'd like to thank Heather for taking this flight with me. She'd never been on stream, on a stream, which is fine. It's like her first time. Might as well.
Here we go. Cali Cocktail Hour.
Yeah. I like the feng shui you got back there, Heather. Yeah.
Nice.
And Teresa's always great having you here. And I think people, yeah. And, we're going to expand more on this and hopefully connect with some other people in different states and, and kind of get this energy, really good stuff going on too. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. I'm going to do a sleight of hand here so we can see it. And it is coming up now.
Taberrica es el sol. Entonces nos va alzando y Él nos está haciendo caminar. Nacemos, crecemos, otra vez nos bajan, ahora sí, al llegar al suelo, allí mismo donde caemos, nos come la tierra.
When a people have their traditions rooted in the land, like the Huicholes in the homelands, it's like there's a very intimate connection between the land, the people, and the ancestors. And so violating one is necessarily about violating the other. It's all a web of connections. And I think we need to really come to terms with that and feel that. And I think that there's probably a lot of grieving to be done.
Cada uno que vamos a la sierra es asunto que cada uno va a un viaje personal. Y no es que se te borren las dificultades o las luchas cotidianas o tus aprendizajes, sino que puedas verlos desde otro punto de vista. Y bueno, vamos creciendo. Claro que gente como usted que nacieron maracames, desde los 7 años, y ya a los 18 ya curaba, pues bueno, yo no sé si nos alcanza con esta vida llegar a ser alguien como él, pero bueno, vamos caminando.
Cuando no había carretera, se tomaba puros tejuinos en las fiestas, en cada fiesta. Las mujeres son los que se encargan de hacerlos. Ahora ya los jóvenes, la mayor parte no les conviene que tomen tejuinos, les gusta más la cerveza. Y eso pues para mí que no está bien. A la edad de 12 años me gustó la música. Ahora ya formé otro grupo que hoy es Los Rayos del Sol. Pues quiero que Dios nos ayudara a avanzar más y seguir adelante.
He recibido amor. He recibido raíces, identidad, un sentido de vida.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, right?
Dios. Agradecimiento a todo.
Absolutely.
You make a commitment to the gods to do their work, well, then you have to be ready to do what they want you to do. And that's an interesting challenge, especially when you come from a culture where it's all about what I think I should be doing. And then you're introduced to this way of life, which is all about surrender.
Mm.
And that was it.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Very cool.
That's a great reminder to let you know that, as far as the mountains you go, or, as in the city that you are, we're still connected, and with the earth.
Yeah, and even the mountains, I mean, the mountains around here, like they're so sacred too, right? We just go, I'm going to go skiing. I'm like, okay. You also know you're healing yourself too when you're skiing.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't, I mean, if people who don't, who aren't, but if you, I know my friend Marlo who's on here right now. Hola, Teresa. Uh-oh, we have two of them.
Hola.
And Marlo, much love. Marlo's learning, the native way too, and he goes to Mount Shasta, a lot, or before COVID and stuff like that. But I think, you saw, I think, an American guy up there talking about coming down there and learning, and I think we all have a calling that we just don't know what it is yet, right? And it goes beyond boundaries of vibrations, I think, too, for that too. It just kind of got me too thinking about how connected we are to the earth now, and trying to figure that out with this whole, being in an industrial nation like we are, the biggest capitalist nation in the world. But how do we navigate that too?
Right.
To have that balance.
Yeah, and you were talking about that earlier, Ruben, about slowing down. I have recently noticed that, it's great to have this connection and through Zoom, but I also am dying to just be outside all the time now. I just want to be outside. And that video you just showed was all about reconnecting with the land and surrendering to this power that's almost an ability for us as humans to see how we fit in there, right? How small we are in there, where you kind of lose perspective of that and start thinking of this little problem or that little problem. And when you can't get outside like that and be in nature, I don't know, I think our perspective slowly, becomes distorted.
And and the little things we talked about, the drumming, right? The drumming brings you in that mode of that meditative mode of, I don't know, in a different world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that, that really, we have a lot of these tools around us. We just got to open our eyes and just walk outside and see them, because it is, going outside is a treat now. I'm like, I'm going to walk around the block. Yeah. It's like.
Speaking of drumming, I think Teresa was going to maybe do some drumming.
Yes. Let me see.
So everybody, before we do that too, see? Chico is here.
Hola, Chico. Hola.
And Chico is the newest member of the StreamYard. I taught him today.
Awesome.
And he has a great show, and it's going to be awesome too. So I'm really excited. He has 1 week. I think 1 week, Dad? Yeah, 1 week to show what he has. So.
Oh, yeah, that'll be interesting. Yes, Chico Gonzalez was my professor in a barrio art class And, I still remember the project clearly. We did a community event and we invited, kids of the community, and we put this great program on. So yeah, very great professor.
Yeah. He's doing some great things and teaching all the kids. And
awesome. And
yeah, he's an all-around great guy. Great smile too. I didn't tell you that, Chico. So I don't want to be all weird on StreamYard, just us two. I'm like, ooh, yeah, never noticed that before. But anyways, so we are going to come to our the healing ceremony part, right? Yes. So anybody out there, you have anything you want to put out for Teresa? We are going to do a. Oh, look at. I think he's talking about the smiling, I think. Yeah. So you can feel things through StreamYard too, energy. So it wasn't your imagination. It was true. So yeah. Everybody out there, anything for them to.
So I've kind of been catching myself, not that I'm like sitting in my chair, kind of just rocking out and, move from side to side. But often I find myself when I'm really grounded, either whether I'm sitting or I'm standing, it's kind of like I'm picking up kind of like the centrifugal force. And so like I can feel myself moving. And so I don't know if you guys noticed it or even people watching. It's just that there's good energy here. And even where I'm present, and I'm sure there's good energy where you guys are at. So just know that the space that you're in, you've created that space for yourself. And you've brought something to drink or, whatever it is, know that you've created that space and you can always go back to that space and nobody can ever take that away from you. So just know that you can be present and, try to ground yourself where you're at, because the most important thing is you're on your home and your home is a sacred place.
I like to think of all of our living rooms and spaces all connected in one giant living room.
Right.
I visualize it in my mind. A big giant
absolutely. Room. Yeah. And, we're all interconnected. And so, we're able to kind of navigate, through having this live feed and it's energy that we've created in being here. And so I think just the most important thing is just remember to think of the things that serve you and think of the things that don't serve you. Envisioning, visualizing things that you no longer need in your mind. Don't let them live in there anymore. Don't let negative thoughts. It's easier said than done, but it goes back to just being programmed, not being programmed by the media, but having that self-program where, it can be as easy as, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to drink some water, or, in the afternoon, I'm going to step outside and I'm just going to take a deep breath, and, at 3:00, I'm going to step outside and I'm going to walk, wherever it is that I can walk to and walk back. So know that you can create a space where you feel comfortable. And don't forget that. So I'm just going to ask all of you to think about and, kind of envision, close your eyes for a moment, find yourself in your sacred space. Take a deep breath, release it. Take another deep breath to the point where you're lifting your shoulders. And when you're releasing, your shoulders are falling slowly to where you are just in a relaxed state. And as you're in this sacred space that you're in, I ask the Creator to give you love and light, to bring patience and healing to yourself, to your families, to your loved ones, to your friends. Remind them of the healing that you learned today and how it is that you can help others. Because we're all healers. We just have to find that energy so we can heal. And although you guys may not be able to be physically present in front of me, you are physically present virtually. And I ask Creator to bless you as I bless all of you through this virtual platform that we have here. Taking a deep breath, letting it out. Finding that space, that thought that makes you feel good, the food that you love to eat that makes you feel good, the family members that make you feel good, your loved ones that make you smile. Praying for those that are sick, ill, have itises. I ask all of you to put those thoughts and prayers to give them strength, to give them love. I ask the Creator to bless each and every one of your spirits, to cleanse your souls, to reawaken that little child spirit that lives within you and not forget. And remember that every day you have an opportunity to be the better person that you were the day before. So tomorrow when you wake up, give thanks, hug your loved ones, and love yourself. Shikiye wan sochi, shikiye wan pam ni moyolo, pampani mitla sotla, pampani mitla sotla, yikanochi moyolo. Toma esta flor, tómala en tu corazón, porque te quiero, porque te quiero con todo mi corazón. Mateo.
Thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, Teresa,
Yes.
for this. Wow. Sorry. Let me come back.
Yeah, you
I
can take
know,
a
I
moment.
feel
Yes,
like
take
that.
a
You
moment
don't
for yourselves.
Yeah.
Drink something. Refresh your palate.
Oh, gosh. Thank God I have mezcal with me.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and we talk about
Give
like
it spirit.
about not knowing what the words are, right? But it's always the vibrations and the spirits, right?
Mhm.
Even if say, Chris said that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Chris. So this, oh,
We got 6 hearts. That's the most hearts we've ever had before. Yeah. All right. That's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be hard to beat. 6
so
hearts.
toma esta flor is take this flower, and I would say the flower that I gave you, I would say it was a form of medicine and prayer, and I would say spiritual talk. Oh, you're welcome, Corey. So take this flower, and it's because I love you, and it's because I love you with all my heart. And it's just sending love, because that's what we need right now is lots of love and lots of healing. And sometimes it might seem weird, but if you can, grab yourself and, hold your arms around yourself and kind of, give yourself a hug to it gives you that feeling, of, being able to love yourself. And sometimes it's a matter of physically doing it, because sometimes we don't do it mentally.
See, Chris said, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for sharing. I got to go. See you next Friday.
All right. Have a good one, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Yeah. And like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out, and, we always have, guests and people and, interesting people. And, Raquela's here. All right. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. And, that was a couple more minutes. I would have been like, Ruben, wake up, hit the button. Well, and the drums took me somewhere too. After that too, and I was like, thinking like, I don't know what she's, what you're saying, but it just resonates with me, and I think that, language is vibration, right? It's like it's like music, right? You don't necessarily have to understand what it is, but it's the vibrations going. So
and
we love you too, Raquel.
Together, right? Yeah. Like doing that together, like knowing that you were both on here and everyone else was here doing that. You can create this amazing connection with people.
Yeah, because
thank you, Raquel.
So,
beautiful.
And for me, it's all it's all energy, right? It's energy.
Yep.
I may take off my human bodysuit and become an energy being, right? This is it. I got feathers, I'm like, I might not even be real anymore. So, but it is, like I said, we talked about energy, right? And energy can transfer through anything, right? I can put my hand on here and, and it shoots out to the internet somewhere.
Right.
And if we do have love, that's what we're doing here. We're creating a space of love. We're creating a space where you can feel vulnerable, because we'll take that vulnerability and, we'll all share our own, I used to be afraid to share my, I used to be like, no one's going to know, blah, 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 that I, blah, blah, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work. Right. And especially being a male, we talked about this about, I didn't have any good mentorship when I was growing up. There was no males going out there, yeah, you could do this, or, you should cry. That's great. Let it out, let it out. No, it's like, no, you will never cry. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so, and it's great to have this, this forum, not forum, I want to say it is a space, and there's some beautiful people here, and that's all we can really ask for. And love is what it's all about. Yeah. And it comes down to that, right? And it comes down to, suffering and fear is why we grow apart, right? I mean, we all suffer. We all have the same, we have the same things growing up, just different, right? We all have these things that are going to happen in our lifetime. And, and I'm just going back in the state of the whole, let's just say the United States, right? We're so, we need love right now. We had a leader that had no empathy for people, right? And this is what you get. We need, even if it's not for them, it's for us, right?
Right.
We need to show the love. We need to be the ones that are, that are leading the way for that. And they can follow us this time. We're done following them, right? So, and I appreciate everybody on here for that too. And I appreciate you coming out and, doing a ceremony, because, we all, like you said, we talked about earlier, what is prayer, right?
Right.
What is, vibrations, what is, trying to help each other out. We all whatever race, color, blah, blah, we all have the same things that we go through in our lives. So,
I would say that it's communication, and we just all do it differently.
yeah.
And I think it's important because that's what makes us who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember. Oh, go ahead.
I had a question for Teresa, only because we're getting to the end, and
there is no end.
There is no end. I didn't know what a light worker was, so I looked it up before we started the show, and I'm just going to read it real quick. It says, light workers are individuals who have agreed to incarnate and live upon the planet for the purpose of raising the consciousness of mankind. And I was really interested in when you discovered you were a light worker. So, because I think other people on here may have these same senses in themselves and kind of not know what they're experiencing. And I thought it would be interesting to just get your take on that before we ended.
Absolutely. So in the work that I do, it was something I was born with, and I didn't really hone onto it until, I would say, my first time would have been when I was in high school. I was playing in a basketball game, and I dislocated my finger, and I just happened to, in that moment, I just happened to look down, and I just popped my finger back in. And I didn't know if that was just adrenaline, but I looked down, and my finger was no longer looking, I don't know how to, this. But I started to hone on it a little bit more is when I started Aztec dancing. And where I had the opportunity to learn about the Aztec dancing culture, to learn about the healing that comes with it, because it's also a balance with having a balance and making it a lifestyle. And so when I started learning about the song and prayers that we would do, what we would call or vigils. And part of that was, singing, that also we prayed when we sing, and the work that we would do. I think what Ruben has a picture of, it looks like an altar, and then there's a little bit of candles. And what we do is we create an altar, and what we do is we invite the spirits to be present in the work that we're doing, because we are of service to them. And at the end of that, we do flower work. And so you can see in the picture right at the bottom of where those flowers are, it looks like a stick where they've mended flowers on a wooden stick. And I would say it's kind of serves a purpose similar to what Copal does and what Palo Santo does and what Sage does. But we were actually able to put the flowers and bless people with them. And so it's kind of like you're absorbing the energy from the person. So in regards to the light work, there is a way for me to kind of, and I use my hands to, and I kind of run my hands through the chakras, and there's a point where my hand will no longer, it's like stuck, like my hand is frozen. And when my hand is frozen, then I'm able to move whatever energy that is kind of like blocking the being. And so in regards to light work, it's you're moving people's energy. You're moving energies that people have either stuck in their head or, any of where your chakras are. because you have energy can come in and out of all your joints, your head, your shoulders, your neck, your wrist, your elbows, your hips, your knees, your legs, pelvic region. And there's energy that gets stuck there, and it can be, thank you, Jessica. It can be a force that doesn't need to be inside you. And so I found a way, I don't want to say manipulate, but I found a way to kind of pull it to where it's not in your body anymore, and you can feel that relief. I notice in a lot of the healing that I've done, people's hearts always hurt. And it's either, it can be from an emotion, they've been, betrayed, they're hurt, and some, they might have lost a loved one, or, they're just having a hard time where they're not appreciating themselves and giving themselves the love that they need. And the crown chakra. And that's one of the things that I had talked about is when my hand goes like this, like the energy is good. But if I'm to run my hand against someone and it like stops, like literally it'll like stop, then I know that there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on that person. But it's just by feeling, some people can feel other people's energy, and sometimes it's understanding where people's energy, like frequency, begins and ends. That isn't anything that was taught to me. As far as like where the range is, it's kind of like you can feel. Sometimes you're talking to somebody and you get a bad vibe from that person. It's probably right. So you're kind of like, you kind of back up a little bit. And so it's your own intuition, and it's your own following. It's kind of like they say, listen to your gut. Well, yeah, listen to your gut, because your gut is kind of connected. With your brain, and so it triggers when you have that gut feeling. It's kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or sometimes it's like, maybe I shouldn't have ate that.
Yeah. Well, and don't you think like a lot of people, like, we talk about healing, right? Healing workers, all this stuff, there's a really just a range of someone who's a good listener, right? Mm-hmm. Who, and I know that for, I'll take for instance, in the Buddhist way, it's compassionate listening. Mm-hmm. You go on somewhere where the only goal you have is to heal them through listening. Like, let them go, and if you could sit there and let them do that without having to give them advice, this is what you need to do, blah, 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 because they won't go there unless you really let them go. And people who are just really good nature personalities, right? They're healing in their own way. And I think that the term healer is, it opens up to many, many different things.
It does. It does.
It's like artist, right? You cook, you make some good food. You're an artist. You do anything. You do quilting. You're an artist. You really just need to own that too, and open yourself up to that. And I think that a lot of people have like you are a healer. You do smile at people. You do, emote. And
right.
And I think that a lot of my friends that I know, and I know a lot of people on here have different things that they do. And, people are writers, right? So, but I love, like I said, I love the fact that, what you're explaining too is also different modalities and, different, like, kind of like, like your chakras and, when you go get acupuncture, it's like, these are the points, the energy points you're trying to hit anyways.
Right.
And so, if you really think about, open your mind to study a lot of these different ones, you'll find out they're kind of almost the same. I mean, they are the same, just different language, right?
One of the things I did, someone did teach me, and I know that's something I can share with everyone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like reading your own energy, your own chakras. I use this technique, and it was taught to me by a good friend of mine, Kopal. And so it came very handy when with my little one, because babies can't tell you that they hurt or something is bothering them, but babies have chakras too, and so you're able to see what's bothering them. It can be a headache, it can be a tooth, it can be like their stomach or their legs. So one of the things is just getting a pendulum just like this. And what I do is I'm not going to move the top of it. I know you can't see it, but I'm just holding it straight. And I'm going to put my hand here at the bottom, and I'm not moving it. And what's going to happen, it's going to pick up my energy. And that's moving by itself. And I can lower it so then you can see that the tips of my fingers are not moving. But it's picking up. It's reading my own energy, and you can do this. You can get a necklace just as long as it has something heavy, and if you're having a bad day, you can tell. So what it'll do is if it moves clockwise, then your energy within yourself is balanced, and it can be at any chakra that you check. The other thing would be is if it starts to swing from side to side, then you're a little bit off.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Imbalance.
Wow,
and if it starts to move counterclockwise, then that means there's something really wrong with that chakra. And you can try it on anyone, and then know that you can pick up people's energy, and you all heal. There was something else that I wanted to say in regards to healing. Everyone is a healer, and I'm going to tell you why. You can be having a bad day, and you're the only person that can figure out what makes you happy. And at that point, you've healed yourself. Just one example.
Yeah.
So true.
I try to heal myself all the time. Last week I was
and
like,
it's okay. We're supposed to, we're supposed to. But with mezcal? No.
No. Well, that too. No, last one was like, is there something about overhealing? But when a dog gets hurt, he licks his wounds, right?
Yeah.
And that's. I mean, in my spiritual way, I lick my own wounds, right? I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like you cut your finger and you see it bleeding, and you're like,
yeah. That's how I see it too. I'm like, well, it's because when I was a kid, I learned that I was the only one that's going to do it for me. So I had to learn to do it myself. It's not a happy story that how I learned, but I did, because at the end, it is you that is going to help yourself the most. You can't, it's great to depend on people, but in the end, you really depend on yourself to, it also, if you want to help other people too, you got to heal yourself first, too.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to, that self-healing is, some people, they're ill, they go to the doctor, they get prescribed something, and, I would say medications, they're good for some things, and sometimes they're not good, because it's just a matter of, it just depends on what it is that you have. And so people start to think about, what is a natural remedy that I can take that will, so then I don't have to take this medication.
Yeah.
Something that's not man-made, why can I not use things that, were created on Earth in order to heal? And so,
which is funny because a lot of the medicine is like hyper steroid version of like, guess what? When I was a kid, like, oh, you have ringworm. I'm like, okay, drink this disgusting herbs, Mexicano style, right?
Yeah.
I'm all, no, tia, no quiero, no quiero mama. I'm like, no, drink this. I'm like, okay, that's gonna kill anything inside of me, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But once again, it's from the earth, right? It's almost like, the other day I noticed, I'm like, oh my God, of course I go through this every wintertime because I just do. So, I'm walking the neighborhood. There's all these like lemons and oranges, right? I'm like, okay, well, why are the lemons and oranges growing? Well, because you have the flu or you have the cold. Yeah, it's like the earth is giving you these remedies, right? These things that we're supposed to be eating during this time to help us build an immune system for this.
Right.
Yep. And all of these things around us, like you said, copal, the smell, it may be the smell, right? That we're like, I know that when I'm in Oaxaca, maybe it's for the Day of the Dead, but it's the whole city smells like copal and marigolds. Yeah. Right. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm healed, walking around. And so, but it's like these certain things, like when we're kids, right? Sometimes when we smell something like Mexican hot chocolate, right? And I'm like, oh, tia, you know what I mean? Like anybody, you get these things in your head that really bring up good memories. And even, like I said, good memories are very healthy too in healing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but and I like I said, I believe in energy, so I believe any stages of energy that I can conjure up for myself is good. And so thank you for coming out. And I like talking about energy work. I really do, because I really do believe it. Yeah, and I do believe this is a reflection of energy work going through the internets.
Yeah, we need to, and it's kind of like we have to use the tools that we have. And, this is a tool that we can utilize to bring positive thought, conversation.
So Hector says, excellent. Yeah. So.
Oh, thanks, Hector.
And Hector is from I'm still trying to get a hold of him. He's from my state. So we're like primos Zacatecanos, so.
Oh, okay.
He has some beautiful, he's a wonderful photographer. And he has these really beautiful pictures of Mennonites, Aborigines, what are the ones in God, Hector, help me here, buddy. Oh, hold on. Here you go.
Yes, Evelyn is true. Yes.
Yeah. So, in Cali Cocktail Hour actually become the medicinal medicine. It was green green bud and red wine. That's how it really came. That was the original Cali Cocktail. Using the herbs and putting it together.
Yes.
And then I would get in the state and I would create a bunch of artwork doing it. So I'm like, oh my God, this is, but it became a catchphrase. So that's the real truth of there. Anyways, gosh, I forgot what I was going to say now. Heather, someone help me out here.
Well, real quick, I was gonna chime in there. You were talking about healing and plant healing, and then you were talking about emotional healing. And something that somebody told me that I really liked and I use now every time something is bothering me is they were talking about, you have a situation and it will be with another person, whether that's a relationship or something that happens at work, and you're carrying that around with you and it's bugging you. The visual they gave me was like you carrying that person on your back, right? And you're trudging through life with these people, you're pulling that weight of them. They're not thinking about it. You're thinking about it, right? Yeah. So basically, like,
they don't belong to you.
Yeah, that doesn't belong to you. You'd set them down, act how you feel like you need to express yourself, and then let that be done. Like, don't continue carrying that through your world with you. And sometimes it can be challenging to give up our, I want to say, like, being right or whatever feelings are coming up for us when we're in conflict with another person, like setting that down and just being okay with, like, healing ourselves and letting it go, right? There's a lot of freedom in letting things go.
Things, thoughts, and people don't control you. So don't let them.
I know that
people, yep.
And anybody out there who, who goes over their head, like when you get in a situation, right? And, you're a week later, you're replaying in your head, right? I wish I would have said that, right? Exactly. And I know that, it wasn't until listen to a lot of stuff, but or read a lot of. To me, like Buddhism and Taoism and stuff is really the riddles that you have to like, figure out. They're not really clear on what they're trying to say, but it's because you have to try to figure it out yourself, right? So it takes years to get. But and then you have people who come up now, and like Eckhart Tolle said, like he said, look, every time you do that, all you're doing is re-traumatizing yourself, right? So you're going on this thing about, I can't believe what's name did that, and that's not right, blah blah blah. He's like, but they're not even thinking about it, right?
Right.
All you're doing is re-traumatize, and you get stressed out. You're like, fuck that person. Well, yeah, that person, blah 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 blah. And guess what? Who's it hurting? You, not them. Because a lot of times you care too much about things that, you just say your cousin that you always had a problem with. They're just gonna say shit, and you just have to let that go. You have to let your ego just say, hey, you know what? I don't need to deal with this stuff, and it's hard to do that.
You have to think about what serves you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if. Yes, they're negative energies. Yes. Yeah. And so you have to figure out, it doesn't belong to you. And so it's kind of like, you know what? Oh, it would be, if somebody comes and vents to you and, you kind of, it makes you angry. Sometimes it's like, okay. Oh gosh. Sorry guys.
Perfect. See, it is the,
that's the chime, huh?
That's the copal going there.
All right.
Well, is that the cue right there? Oh, it's perfect. So we knew that the food was good, right? The food is fresh because the fridge was going. It was awesome. That was okay, guys, everybody. No, but like I said, it is all that negative energy that we keep, to ourselves. And I know that in Chinese philosophy is that negative energy brings a lot of illness too, right? So that's why you get acupuncture to unblock those electrical parts of your body. And it's just interesting that all this really all kinds of stuff that thousands of years ago they figured it out, and we're now starting to figure it out with ourselves. Like, okay, maybe stress isn't good. maybe pushing yourself isn't good, right? It's like, no, you need to take care of yourself too. I mean, not in a selfish way, but it is like I said, eat healthy or eat the plants around you that are being grown at that moment.
Oh.
So I think she'll be back in a second. She removed her self from there.
And I do love that, like, Cali Cocktail Hour has a lot to do. It seems to come up on most of the shows that I've attended. There's a lot of self-care. There's a lot of how can we be good to ourselves.
Yeah. So, and it's good because, like I said, a lot of people are like that too. And, we do go through different, what do you call it? Subjects, right? And everybody out there, will put something on the comment and talk about self-care because it kind of is about that too, right? And we have different things to talk about on there for, as well for that too. And I'd like to thank everybody out there and you for taking a chance, diving into it, and coming out here tonight. So everybody out there, we appreciate you. And you have a comment out there for us to go. Teresa will be right back, she said. So she's just going to go check her, make sure, things are not on fire, right? So thank you, everyone, for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour. I think there's part of that. Or did I say something? Anybody out there have any comments or questions? Oh, okay. I guess that's, yeah. Well, thank you for coming out. And I'm glad that we had Teresa on here. We'll have next week is... Oh, good. We appreciate you too.
Aww.
So we're going to keep it going every Friday. And coming up, let's see, next week will be Lynn Mayuba. And I think we're going to have... We'll see what we have. I think we may have a singer next week. I'm trying to get a hold of. Yeah, so... She's really good too, so appreciate y'all too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And I see a comment there by Charisse. Charisse, I just wanted to say it's so interesting that we are talking about light work because when I met you, when Ruben was my roommate, like 20, 30 years ago now, gosh, you used to, we lived around the corner from a store that I was freaked out by, and you used to tell me angels and light, and you taught me how to use energy and light work then. And so to see your name pop up was just amazing for me. So
Sharice she was ahead of her time.
Definitely.
She had to deal with me. Like she has patience.
Yeah.
Back then I was a wild feral cat. Now I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, and so wait a minute before we go. I need to do something real quick because we do have a part where we do people out there. It is. Let me see this. Oh no! Oh, there you go. It's a good time to see who we have out there because it is time where you need a friend, a companion. So we do have to look who we have for adoption in the pet world, adult world. So I'm not adult world, pet world. So here we go. So we see who's out there for everybody.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have Pixie, who is a female, black and tan German Shepherd dog mix. You'll find me in kennel S08. She was found in West El Camino and Azevedo Drive. So anybody out there, these little guys, women, and all these dogs need some friends, and you may need them out there.
They are so cute.
My son just asked me for a dog. He's like, "Mom, can we start looking at dogs?"
Oh,
see,
yes.
it is fate.
Here's your choice. Here's your
I know.
So we have a new. I am a male. Not me. The dog is. I'm sorry. I am a neutered male, black and tricolor American Sapphire Terrier. You'll find me at kennel 610. And then this guy, his name is Rhesus, another neutered male, Labrador, Mixer Retriever. And we have Casper, who seems like a cutie. Again, he's neutered male, gray-white pit bull, and he's also ready to go. And you have Carter, who is a very elegant yet confused little doggy there, ready for everybody. Very, he's a cutie. So, and also, yeah, we have Akira here, ready to go for anybody out there, just in case someone is. I know Sharice was trying to get me to foster her dog for a day or two. And then we also have Happy, which he is very, very happy. So anybody out there, anybody out there. So just in case, you never know.
Nice, yes, I love that.
And my name used to be Ruby Red Rabbit, and you don't want to know why. That's what I say. Anyways, well, Teresa, thank you for coming out, and Heather, thank you for coming on here in Cali Cocktail Hour. We usually run till 10:30, which is cool. Marla says, Marla says, thank you, gratitude.
Thank you. Yes, gratitude, absolutely.
Yeah.
So these are my true stories. Because I carry smoke, and we would get invited to do presentations. I would always set off the fire alarms. At some place. It didn't happen all the time, but it was like that one place where like you think like your smoke was like low enough, but it wasn't low enough, and so you like set the alarms off. So it comes with the tools and the work that I do.
It happens.
I thought I covered them all, but of course it was my CO2.
Perfect.
And I'm learning American Sign Language right now, and I learned my first class. I learned hugs, and I learned love. So
love.
I'm down with hugs and love.
Yeah. So yes, we should end that way. So yes, hugs and love all the way. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and everybody out there, good night. Say your good nights. Have good dreams. Have good sleep. Sleep is very important, by the way, right?
Yes.
Let your body recover. Yeah.
To regenerate yourself.
Yeah. So
and don't forget that every day is a good day to have a good day. So I hope that all of you have a good day.
Yeah. Tomorrow. Have a great time, and everybody out there. Kindness in giving creates love.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Anything else? Anybody? Any goodbyes to anybody out there? Anything?
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Good night. Sayonara. Adios, amigos.
Yes.
All right, you two
Good
stay.
night, everyone.
Yeah, good night, everybody. You two stay on, and oh, hold on, we have someone saying good night. Good night, Raquel, who is in LA
night,
right
Raquel.
now. Yeah, so she just moved back to Sacramento. We're happy to have her back in Sacramento. Really are.
Yay,
So
welcome back.
she is a creative force. So we will end it with our ending right here, and thank you to everybody out there.
Maybe I've seen my dad, and I'm alive to kill the time. What triggers the idea of la da da da? Well, I've lived this before. And why must we experience it? My curiosity kills cities of cats. And that's that. La